Is it a choice or is it instinctual? How is it that we know that we truly feel fear? Welcome to the Triple Take. I'm Joseph.
I'm Manny.
And I'm Frank.
And today, we're going to take a dabble into the inner machinations of our sense of fear.
Because the inner mechanisms
of my mind are an enigma.
Yeah, that was scary. But at the end of the day, going off of fear, like what is fear?
Simply, I will put this into
Also,
Manny's book of definitions. I'm holding the imaginary book right here. Flip the page.
The book's like this big.
The rules. But fear, to moi, is a sense
Wani?
of don't say that, Manny. Don't say that. Feel a sense of doubt in something and to almost feel uneasy about whether it be something in life or something coming at you
Or out of you.
or out of you.
I think fear is just uncertainty and lack of faith.
That's fair.
That's, that's really what it is.
Fear is for the most part, is an innate response to just being like having a sense of doubt, having a sense of uncertainty, having a sense of like
Ignorance.
lack of understanding, and just
There we go.
not knowing what to do. You know, the sense of like, I am not going to get through this. Or you have that sense of like having no option to get out of whatever the scenario is, whether you're running away from it or you're having to fight it. Because then you get that flight or fight response, in my opinion.
They were all kind of saying the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope our definitions come together into one nice, concise idea for our lovely audience.
Well, for the most part, I mean, for me, let's go backwards, guys. Let's go backwards.
Yeah, I'm really scared of nothing no more.
Let's talk about, because like, you know, nowadays I'm not really fearful of anything, but let's go back. Let's go down a ride down memory lane and find out some of the things that we were fearful of. Now, your boy took a minute because I wanted to pull something up because my mother told me this. So I'll start when I was 2 years old. My mother told me I was a wrestling fan from the beginning, and I used to watch wrestling every Monday, Friday, and I decided to find a picture of the guy. So I will pop him up real quick. All right, boys. Right here is Gold Dust. Now, Gold Dust is just a wrestler that back in the day, he used to do like a certain type of mannerism. And that mannerism used to make me cry because I was so scared of him doing this. And I don't know why
That's
my
it?
2-year-old self would try to grab the remote to turn off the TV in fear of what would do to me.
Mommy, his breath. It stinks.
Honestly, I think I could dissect that for you.
If you can, it would be crazy to me, you know.
I'm just
'cause-
saying, because being Hispanic, right? Every single time a parent gets upset, they're always like, well, you're about to get hit with a belt. That's what you thought of. That's what I think you thought of.
I don't know, like my 2-year-old self, this is the first memory I have of fear. Apparently, every time he used to pop up on screen, regardless, I used to bawl in tears when he used to just do that motion and then just walk the way he used to walk and act. It just used to make me scared. For what reason? I have no idea.
So is
Man.
this where you get that sense of like, you know what? I don't like that person.
That could be it. That could be where the origin of that came from. Of just, you know, looking at a guy, like I'm looking at you right now, and I'm like, I don't like this guy. Like, oh, not you. Hold on, not you.
So it's
specifically.
talking about Gold Dust.
I was talking about the viewer. Well, let's just say Gold Dust because I don't want to say the viewer.
We kind of need the viewers.
Do we need you?
Not all of them.
Not really.
But anyway,
I'm here for me.
to piggyback off of that, I used to be scared of Undertaker. But I wasn't scared of him like when I saw him on the screen or nothing. It's just for some reason I was never scared of this man. I actually thought he was cool. But then when I went to sleep and
He
I would
was
have
there.
my nightmares, this
He
man
was there.
in them. And he buried me alive multiple times. And I couldn't get out. And I was screaming for help. And it was just like, no one's gonna help you, buddy. And he just kept scooping that dirt in there. In the coffin and then on top of it. I don't know how I thought that worked.
There's a little hole. There was a hole so you could breathe.
No, I'm gonna die. Like he's burying me alive, and then I would wake up whenever I would like get buried alive. And like I only have had that dream like a couple, like 3-4 times. And then ever since then, I'm just like, and every time I woke up, I'm like, why am I having this dream? Like I'm not scared of this guy, but I'm scared of being buried alive though by him
And
because he
just
could
happens
do
to-
it.
He just happens to be the closest representation to being buried alive. That's what it
'cause
is.
He would always do it. Like, and I used to play the old WWE video games, and you could do that. It's
You
like a
could
whole
do that.
setup with the coffin and everything. Like that's
Used
exactly.
to hit people with the shovel.
Yep. Exactly how it happened in the video game is exactly how it happened to me in my dream.
This man was having a nightmare about a video game.
Basically, like I know he did it.
Did you
show.
always like lose in the video game?
Bro, I stood no chance. It wasn't even a match. He just picked me up, threw me in
Okay.
there, and just started
That's
burying
probably
me.
why you had the dream. He just
And-
wanted to win.
Only thing in my mind, I'm just like, I'm not scared of this, but he could do that if he wanted to, though. I could not fight back. Like this is exactly how it would happen.
Okay, that's interesting.
All right, Joseph, your turn. You gotta
My
tell me
turn.
something. You gotta tell me something. There had to have been something that put fear into your heart when you
That
were
wasn't my
like, a
first
youngin'.
memory of fear, by the way.
That wasn't your first memory of
No.
fear?
What was your first memory?
Oh, no.
So my first memory of fear is a little sad. I was in the car with my dad and my cousin, and then we were just talking. I was just yapping, and then my dad's like, yeah, and then my cousin said something to my dad, and my dad's just like, hey, man, one day, I won't be here. I gotta make sure he's okay. And I'm just like, what do you mean by that? He's like, one day I'm not gonna be here anymore. And I was like, what do you mean by that, though? He's like, one day I will die. He was just like, and then that's when I first realized that my father was gonna die one day. And I cried for like 10 minutes straight. And I was scared that my father was gonna die. Because like the weight,
That's a crazy. How old were you?
I don't even remember, bro. Definitely way less than 10, like 6, 7. And like the weight of me realizing that the full on weight of like his time is limited, like hit me all at once. That's not as far off as I think it is. I realized that. Because like as a kid, you think your parents gonna live forever.
Of course.
Yeah, you're just like,
As a kid, you think everybody lives forever.
yeah, exactly. Like you don't think about that. But like that's the first time it actually hit me. And then it hit me about everybody. All like him first and then everybody all at once. So I just kept crying. That was pure fear. of
While
my-
Joseph is still
family.
thinking,
No,
I'm gonna give another one of
I
mine.
think I got it.
You got
Okay.
it? Okay.
So,
Dog, I'm trying to put the
if I'm remembering this correctly, this is like a two-part thing. Because first happened in pre-K, and I remember having made a mess, and I was trying to clean it up, and it just wouldn't. Like I just ended up making more of a mess because, like, again, I'm a kid trying to clean up my own mess. It's gonna get messy. And granted, I know like a teacher would just laugh, being like, "You're trying," like, "Oh, that's cute," but stop. And how my brain, I guess, was developing at the time, but the way my current wiring at the time presented itself was just like, I made a mistake, but I can't like fix it. And then I just remember crying, and I had that fear of just I couldn't correct myself. Does that make sense?
That's crazy. That's a
Your-
crazy fear.
your fear.
Oh
was,
man, I can't fix my mistake. Wham! Like what?
I was a very selfish child. Because compared to my
That's
siblings,
insane.
when I first went to school, my mom was just like, yeah,
Yeah.
the older one cried, the younger one cried, you just left me. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. I got that as my very first fear. That's probably what that was from what I could think back to.
Actually, that makes a lot of sense.
But either way, so as somebody who was because I'm not so much now, was a big fan of the horror genre. I used to watch a lot of Saw, and I used to watch a lot of Hostel. I used to watch a lot of Michael Myers, Halloween. Used to watch Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. I used to watch My Bloody Valentine, right? None of them instilled fear in me. You want to know why? Because I had a brother and a father that told me they only go after the bad people. So don't do anything bad and you won't end up in that position. And I'm just I'm just like, that makes total sense. So why should I be scared of it, right?
one day.
But then one day they showed me a movie. It's called Final Destination. And there was no
the start of
explaining.
many fears
There was no
for many
explaining
people.
that these people that this was happening to were bad people. There was no way to do it because most people inside of those other horror genres have certain things that they do in the movie that make them a bad person, whether that be, drugs or something of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So I remember this so vividly. Final Destination 2. And that, for those who don't know, is the main reason why people don't drive behind trucks carrying logs. That is a cultural. That movie changed the culture. That's all I gotta say.
It definitely brought fear to a lot of people.
So one day when I was moving from New York down to Florida, we were driving behind a truck, and it had not logs, but it was carrying metal.
Metal rubars.
Exactly.
Rebars, something like that.
When I tell you,
bar.
when I tell you, I reached a new octave
Alright,
as a kid of screaming to move the car.
That's-
There is the levels that I
that is so
would
bad.
like, the levels that I would go to make sure that we were not behind a certain vehicle was insurmountable. Like the octave, I sounded like I was an opera singer, but I was spitting that. I don't think about that much now. I still don't go behind trucks that have like stuff carrying it. I don't
know.
even go behind cars that are putting their mattresses above their cars. Like I don't even do that.
I don't know how well you strap that in, man.
Facts. Like brother, I don't no.
If you're driving and the mattress is this, no.
Bro, I've seen that. I've seen that. Who in their right mind puts the mattress like this? Like, are you asking for it to fly? Like, but either way, that was another one that I 100% was just
Destination,
like,
bro.
I can't do it. Those movies, those Final Destination movies, nowadays, obviously, they're completely unrealistic. But back when I was a kid,
Bro,
I honestly believed like this could happen.
bro. I mean, some of the other earlier ones actually like aren't that
Of course.
unrealistic.
They're not
Actually
that
very
far
something-
off.
Yeah, but it's just like, but some of the like, especially like the ones after those, like that was all right. Now you're just getting ridiculous.
Yeah,
It doesn't make any
100%.
sense.
100%.
Like the odds of that happening is just like, what?
That's why I'm like nowadays it's more calm. Like they can't get me. You know what I'm saying?
You
Like
can't get me. I'm not part of the bloodline.
that's a good one. I didn't even think of that. But yeah,
But
it's
for
like
me-
that
but
was
for
an
me-
old fear of mine.
But for me, like I think I have probably like the two most like prevalent fears of my childhood. It's failure / getting accepted. I think most people have that kind of fear, right? And heights.
I don't know.
Heights.
I'm good.
No, I know. For me,
Actually,
heights.
Actually, explain why that fear is gone. I love this story.
See, but you know what? I found out recently is not 100% gone.
Even
But
better.
it's not a fear of heights. that
Time
I'm
to do it
scared of.
again.
No, I don't think. I would
it'll- like to go since I didn't go.
I don't think it'll pass the Supreme Court.
I got that reference.
Yeah.
Trust me. My Supreme Court, and I have not only the Supreme Court, I have the executive, judicial, and legislative branches all
You know what?
stopping me
I'm
from
proud of you for
doing it
remembering
again.
that. I'm proud of you for remembering those branches because you don't give a crap or doodle about history. It's civics is what you mean to say. Because that's not just politics. But anyway, when it comes to heights, right? First of all, I'm gonna start off with how bad it was. So I don't know why I got scared of this, but like when you said, I don't know why I'm scared of heights. It just always has been a thing. Maybe I think it came after like me realizing that people died, and then made me realize that I could die, and then made me realize that if I fall from here, I'm gonna die. I think it's like a
Hey, way
like a
to make 2 and 2 equal 4.
Facts. Sometimes 5. But anyway, and a good example, I got 2 good examples. So one, when I was younger, we went to, damn, I always forget which one it is. Wet and Wild, or the one with the water ride that went like this first and then went back down and then you went all the way down. You know what I'm talking about?
Wet and Wild.
That's Wet and Wild. Okay,
Wet
Wet
and
and Wild.
Wild.
It was a ride, and you know that ride is high, but not that high. Like when you walk up, well, it wasn't that high because it's not there no more. But I went up there. I was like what, 8, 9, and I walked all the way up with my mother. Right, and you know how when you look into where you're gonna go, there's like they have all these bunch of noises and stuff coming from it, and then like people screaming. Bro, when I got there and I heard that, and then I heard them scream, I was like, nah, get me down from here. And my mother was like, bro, might as well just go down from here. And I was like, we're walking back.
Imagine
And
your
I screamed, bro. Because what made it worse is that like she almost convinced me, and then I looked down. And I was like, nah, we're walking back down. So she walked
Die.
all the way. I could not live. But she walked all the way back down with me. That's the first one. Second is that my fear got so bad, like when I was older, like when I got like my first jobs, I would go on a ladder and I would get vertigo. You know what vertigo is?
Yeah.
So like I would literally get dizzy and I could not stand on like the top of the ladder. I could go like to the mid, but at the very top, Couldn't do it. Once, sometimes did I have to push through and do it anyways? Yes. Did I almost fall and die a couple times? Probably. But I conquered them. Because you gotta remember, like, even though I was scared of it, there's still times I conquered it. Like a good example, like when I used to go to the parks when my dad used to play softball. Some of them have like these really high fences, and the other kids would climb them, and they'll be like, "Yo, you're too fat to come up here." And I said, "Bet." And I went up there without thinking about how high it was. And when I got up there, they jumped down from the top, and I'm just like, "Down from here, like just jump." And I was like, "Nah, I'm gonna try to climb down." And then when I would try to climb down, like the fence was kind of like not connected well, so like it would like move, so like I would fall if I tried to climb back down the way I came back up. So I was like, "You're gonna have to jump." And I was there for like 5-6 minutes, and I just said, "Screw it," and I just closed my eyes and jumped, which is scarier. So I don't know why I would do that. What made it worse is that since I jumped and with my eyes closed, I didn't know when I was gonna land, so I didn't prep my feet. So I literally just fell, and then like all of a sudden my feet hit hard ground, and then my butt hit hard ground, and then my knee kneed me in the face because I didn't prep my legs for the landing,
What?
and I busted my lip, right? And even before that, when I used to be in elementary school, and they would have like those like towers that you could climb up, and people should jump off.
Yep.
So like me knowing I had this fear, I would purposefully, because I hated the fact that I made my mom walk all the way back down in What a Wild. So like I need to conquer this fear. So I used to go up there and jump from the top until I got used to it. And I would. And this time I didn't bust my lip. But then like after a while, I would do it again, and then I would have to work myself up again to do it. I'm just like, bro, it was like I had to practice consistently or I was not going to get unafraid. Either way, fast forward to Manny's dad's bachelor party, which Joseph was not invited to apparently.
He was invited.
At
It was
the
just last minute.
last
I don't know. I wasn't the person giving out the
possible moment.
invitations.
It was just last minute.
I wasn't the person giving out invitations, so it's neither here nor there. My story. Shut up.
Should have
Anyway.
never been working for the orange and white.
We went skydiving. Mind you, they told me this months in advance. I thought they were joking. Cause they just put me into it without like, "Oh, you're coming with us." I'm like, "To do what?"
Well, we were having the conversation, and then Frank
but
just
I wasn't
happened
there.
to be there.
Yeah, I just happened to be there. Like I wasn't a part of the conversation. I just walked up as they were having it. And they said, "You're coming with us." I was like, "To where?" "Don't worry about it." And Manny was like, "You should tell him." He was like, "We're going skydiving." I was like, "Nah." They were like, "You're going." And I was like, "Nah."
So to that point, to Frank's point, right? For years, I've been wanting to go skydiving. And if I have one of my
But
fears
Manny,
that are very rational, I don't give a damn if someone says it's irrational. It's being left out in the sense of not being axed with ample amount of time.
So
Does
basically,
that-
what you're saying is you're the Joker. That's Joker's fear.
That's fine. I said one of my fears, right?
FOMO.
I wanted to go. I wanted to skydive. That's been something I've been wanting to do for years. And they basically told me no. Continue, Frank. It wasn't your fault.
Well, I mean, I could continue it from there. I mean, me and Frank, when we got there, were like, we were a little bit like, I won't lie and say that I was like Mr. Hard and like,
Wait. I ended up giving in and said yes. But I thought they weren't going to go through with it. That's why I said yes, so they could just get off my back.
You wait.
But either way, like when we were, because we picked Frank up. Actually, we didn't pick Frank up. I went with Frank.
No, I drove to your house.
Yeah,
And
facts.
then we went from there.
We went from there. The drive over there was probably a lot scarier than anything
No,
else
I
because
disagree. Waiting there. Your cousin peed 11 times, bro. And he will come back and I'll be like, "Yo, you good?" "Yeah. I need to go pee again." Ain't no way you need to pee this much, bro.
it got real. It got real when we signed the documents. It
Nah,
got
you know when it
real.
got real for me? It got real for me when we got on the plane and that thing was shaking more than a newborn lamb.
Bro, nothing and this will forever be like in my brain forever.
18,000 feet.
Fear. This is my fear, right? We were on the plane. I'm in the front.
Yeah.
I'm in the front. I'm the first one that's gonna go. They didn't tell me that,
You and your dad, right?
right? It was me and my dad.
Yeah.
I'm the first one that's gonna go, which I wanted.
was
because
random,
I
though.
didn't. I
It was
wanted.
a random order.
It was
You
a
didn't
random
pick.
order.
It just happened to be that way.
So me and my dad are literally like looking forward. I'm looking out the window. I'm just like seeing the clouds and everything. I'm chilling. There's a plaque, a golden plaque in the front of the plane. And it says when the plane was made. And the plane was older than my father.
Father's 50.
My father was like at the time, I'm pretty sure he was 50 or 51. I looked
know
at
this
it. I looked at
until
it.
after.
Looked at my dad, and I was just like, "You see that?" And he's like, "Oh, we'll be all right." I'm just like,
Sounds like your dad.
"What?"
Bro, but like at least Manny was first, right? He got off real quick. But me, I was second to last. I saw everyone fall. And you know what's crazy? Most of the people fell in complete silence. You know how scary that is, bro? Like no
Jumps
one,
out
like
dead.
just nothing. Especially Manny's cousin, bro. He was just like
Oh, he was peeing on the way down.
No,
like,
he was.
bro, straight face like and fell. That's it. I was like, what happened? What occurred? What has occurred? Is he dead? Did he hit the propeller? Like that's what I was thinking, bro. Like I'm the most scared in the plane, bro. And I'm hearing nothing.
The worst part is
I don't know the outcome.
brother was behind him. My brother was last. So
But he's done
My
it
brother-
before, though.
my brother's done it before. So
Like,
it's,
2 other
he
times
was
before that.
laughing the whole time, like while it was happening.
Well, I was pooping bricks, bro. And I was praying the whole way up, and I'm just like, and bro, and then we get to the worst part where I was like, I have to make a decision here. Like at that point, I'm already in too deep. Like I have to do it. But in my mind, right when we were leaning out, like when I saw Manny's cousin's face when they leaned out, and all I saw was
Look at the vibration.
like this man was just like not breathing. Like he was stealing himself for the inevitable. And when I did that and I saw the buildings go to look like this, I was like, it's over. Either I die here or this is the best thing ever. Full send. And we went and it was great. It was
It was
I'm
great.
not gonna lie.
It was
was
a
great.
great experience.
Great
I was at
experience.
work.
You know?
I was working.
But like after that, after being that high in free air, no support, it felt like
Nothing but a
'cause
European
I know what a
dude
dude
on your
with a
back.
dude, like helping me, like yeah. But like there's no support, like holding you up, like this ain't no ladder, brother. Like you falling fast. We fell for a whole minute, free falling before the parachute. That's a long time.
It was 90 seconds. So technically it was a minute and 30 seconds.
I passed the cloud,
You were gonna say you passed out.
No. Nobody passed out. Nobody passed out.
bro. I did a jutsu move in mid,
I did Kamehameha.
and I looked up like that, broke my neck, looking at the
See,
scenery.
You
But-
know,
but either way, like,
it's a great story, honestly.
but
I like
either
that.
way, after that, ladders didn't matter anymore. Bars, and it's just like, cause I was that high, but like a ladder is like right there. Like if I fall, I'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? But recently, when I went to the Mets game, right? Because this is I realized the fear of heights also had another thing attached to it, which was actually I remember now it was prevalent back then. Because back in our high school, we have like a football training field,
Mhm.
and they have like the big tower
Bleachers?
thing where they could see the tower thing where they could
Where
see
they do the-
everything.
where they
No, like in the practice field right next to the baseball field.
Yeah, like
Where they
overseeing
have the
Uh,
big,
like,
po-
like
the
a
big- the
watchtower.
big tower. Yeah, they have the watchtower up there. But I went up there one time. I forgot with who, bro. And then we were just because we wanted to check it out. And we looked down, and I looked down. I'm like, okay, I'm cool. But then he walked up from behind me because he was coming up, and immediately I was like that because I was just like, I don't know why. It was just my instinct of like, if this dude's behind me, if he wanted to kill me, he could just, boop, and I'll be dead. Like no cap. And I realized there's a lack of trust in people and allowing people behind me in high places. It's not necessarily the height. It's more like the fact that what they could do to me at this height. And that fear came back up in the Mets stadium because towards the end of the game, they went into extra innings. And so we got to like a better spot. And there you could really see, like I was at the edge of one of the second tier, really see the drop. And I'm there and there's a bunch, and then these dudes behind me going crazy, woo, right? And I'm just like, because like they're tied in extra innings. And I'm just like, there's a bunch of Mets fans behind me. If they go crazy right now and they accidentally bump me, I'm cooked. I'm absolutely cooked. And it's just like, and that's a realistic like thing that could actually happen. So I ended up like, you know how like it's like a little bump and then like the fence and then it's over, right? I end up putting my front
There's
foot
the
on that.
fence, and then there's over.
Yeah. I put my front foot on the cement and I leaned back on my back foot like that. So like if they bump me, I'm not moving. And like
So-
I could not stop thinking about that the whole time, bro.
So we're talking about fear. It's not a fear of heights at this moment.
No.
It's a fear of what the person in the situation could do to you
Yes.
in that high place. Okay,
Yes.
it's a different thing. It's a
I
different
don't like
thing.
so like I still don't like people coming up from behind me when we're in high places
Exactly.
at all. No, stay away.
That was such a story.
It's a good story though. I liked it.
Oh yeah, my battle with heights.
You know, fear itself is obviously it's subjective to the individual.
Oh yeah, of course. Most of the time it's irrational.
You know,
Things
but
that don't happen or won't.
we
Right?
as we grow up, we learn that certain things that we fear as a kid may have not been so realistic. You know, obviously there's fear nowadays with all sorts of things. You know, I'm not going to judge a person for saying that they fear going to the grocery store because nowadays in today's society anything could happen. You know what I'm saying? But it is subjective, and you do learn as you grow up that, you know, certain things that you fear may not have the same impact now that you're older. And, you know, some of that silly stuff that we mentioned before, like me with the movies, Joseph with not being able to fix himself, I guess.
Is this over? It's over.
Mistakes.
It's an overactive imagination most of the time.
Most of the time.
Most of the
And,
time.
you know, I wanted to say this real quick. I think that, you know, fear shouldn't rule over our lives the way that it has over the years, because you have yourself, you have you have, you know, you can't limit yourself in the fear of the outside world, because you have you yourself, your faith, you know, you have what you believe in, and you have that to protect you. More than not, you know, it is scary to go alone out and do stuff, but more than not, you'll be with like friends and family and stuff like that. But the way that fear has ruled over our society is one thing I wanted to bring to the table, because I don't think it is something that should rule over us, because fear is something that's meant to stop us from moving forward.
Taking it a step further, it's like God didn't make us to be to be fearful people. It is to be courageous people. So like it's okay to fear something, but just know that it shouldn't dictate who you are or like what you do. Like you should, like me as a little kid jumping off of high places, which is obviously ill-advised for a kid. Don't do that. But it's me trying to conquer that fear and be courageous, because like there's always going to be some scary things going on. But it's what you do with it that matters. It's not what you're scared of, it's what you do with it.
And if you're gonna feel fear, it shouldn't be to hold you back. It should be to push yourself forward. In my opinion.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it.
I
man.
think that, you know, expressing myself here, if there's one thing that I say I would fear, which I don't fear it anymore, because I'm, you know, I don't fear anything like really too much nowadays. One thing I fear is failure. But I've learned that failure defines you. No, sorry. Failure refines you, does not define you.
Yeah, there you go.
And now I've come to embrace failure and take it as a step towards growth. So
You can't have success without failure.
there's something that I would
Not
say
possible.
that's close to what I fear now. It's probably that, but it's something that's like not that big anymore. You know, I have
Starting
my
to get more
huge-
comfortable with it.
Yeah, you start getting comfortable with your fears, you know? So it's like it just becomes nothing. It just becomes something in front of you that you know you're going to grow out of and you're going to overcome.
So let us know your fears. I thought Joseph was gonna say something.
I
but
thought
guess
Joseph
not.
was going to say
Me
something
too,
too.
but it's okay. It's okay. So let us know your fears. What are you scared of? What did you used to be scared of?
Do you have
When
any
did you-
cool stories to share with us about
Yeah.
fear back in the day?
When did you find out your parents are gonna die? When did you make a mistake you couldn't fix and cried about it?
When did you look at Final Destination and say, I'm not getting on a plane anymore? I'm not
Do you
getting
even know what Final Destination is besides Bloodlines?
Let us know.
And if are you thinking to yourself, am I a bad person enough that Saw will come after me? Who knows?
Let us know, finally, let us know when you conquered your fears.
That is true. Comment
So when you conquered.
that down below. Join the Discord. Join the Instagram. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify. You know what to do. I'm Manny.
Frank,
Make mistakes. I'm Joseph.
peace.